Ladies and gentlemen, Walmart, as well as many other big retailers, are making a drastic change that, in my opinion, is ultimately going to potentially put them in a situation where they may be looking to be closing down for good and ultimately put out of business as a result of carrying expensive inventory and, more importantly, expensive employees. While energy costs continue to rise, and freight and shipping and transportation will have a huge factor on the future of the company in a variety of ways, but we're going to touch on that. And we can see here from titles like these, from these news headlines, why companies like Amazon, Walmart, and Target are letting customers keep some returns even after issuing refunds. Now, you guys may recall that we covered this last year on some older videos on the channel, but here we are yet again as this comes to fruition. It says that Walmart, Target, and Amazon are some of the major retailers offering so-called returnless refunds. This is just a terrible idea. But either way, just going through some of the highlights here. Some of America's largest retailers have started issuing refunds while telling customers to keep or donate unwanted goods. Walmart, Target, and Amazon have started offering so-called returnless refunds on certain items, and the policy is applied in situations where the product is unlikely to be resold and where the cost of processing the return is equal to or greater than the cost of the product itself. It's intended for lower cost items and reserved for customers with purchase history at a given retailer. So obviously, folks, these companies, Amazon, Walmart, Target, wherever you shop, wherever you order from online, they're keeping history, they're keeping track of the customers. So perhaps maybe your account will have a notation applied, it will be flagged as whether or not you may be eligible for a refund and keeping the item opposed to a refund and returning the item. And you guys may recall from a previous video that I posted the challenges of the extremely high cost of shipping as I was trying to ship some donations to Bupe in Zambia, Africa.
To Africa. Wow. So instead of...
And it was too expensive to ship. It would have been more cost effective to just provide her with funding so that she could just go and procure the items that she needed directly there. And the costs are just growing, continuously growing. Folks, meanwhile, these changes applying at Walmart, Target, Amazon, as well as I need to bring you some information updates about Home Depot and their new policy. Got a lot of people wondering, asking, worried, a little bit on edge, panic, a lot of anxiety, scared as they try to prepare for the continuous evolutionary cycle of business and the economy, which, again, this is a reoccurring theme on this channel. If you're new here, this is what we talk about: money, finance, the economy, markets, the direction of all of such, inflation, the Fed, interest rates, investing, saving money for beginners, building businesses for beginners, as well as the future of business and how it could affect your income and your employment. And, you know, if you are concerned about this economic storm and how your IRA and 401k will fare during these turbulent times, top experts are predicting now is the time to be protecting your assets with physical gold and silver. Find out why Genesis Gold Group is the #1 recommended company by your favorite preppers and homestead channels. Receive Genesis Gold Group's free definitive gold guide today, or give them a call at 800-200-GOLD. That's 800-200-4653. Their website is www.genesisgoldgroup.com, and I'll link that down below in the description. Now, folks, what's going on at Walmart is, you know, in my opinion, I think it's a little ridiculous. I think that it's going to be an abused policy. I think that it's going to cause more harm than good. But you can tell that these retailers are getting a little bit desperate, a little bit worried about their bottom lines. Now, obviously, we know that theft was a huge issue or is still a huge issue with companies like Walmart, with CEO Doug McMillon providing his warning signs and predictions for 2023 as far as the future of the company and the changes that they would have to make and are preparing to make to cut down and limit loss, limit theft. They're locking up socks behind, security glass, and shifting more to an online business model, which ultimately means less employees, less stores, less foot traffic, less shoppers, less likelihood for theft. And also by introducing more technology, they can ultimately reduce the likelihood of incorrect orders being expedited incorrectly, putting themselves in a situation where they send a customer a product, but they ultimately receive the wrong product. And then the company has to make the choice of whether or not they want to eat the cost, provide the refund, and tell them to keep it instead of paying the return shipping. Whereas, automation and AI using barcode technology, QR codes, scanners, and all the AI technology, including ChatGPT, will cut down on errors, human errors, okay? Because these companies are finding ways to limit their loss and increase their profits because revenues aren't necessarily driving up, besides the fact that prices are going up because of inflation. But at the end of the day, they need to continuously show a profit growth. And the ways that they can do that is by eliminating loss through theft, through mistakes and errors. And that comes with the human component, and that comes with less employees and less human workforce. I'm not sitting here telling you guys that you're going to lose your job and you're going to get fired and Walmart's going to lay everybody off. But what I am saying is that there are changes and evolutions that are occurring on a regular basis. And you could potentially be at risk. And I actually have a personal story that I want to share with you guys at the end of this video that speaks directly to that. And we have to know and understand and realize that these things can happen. They have happened in the past. They will happen again in the future. But the last thing we want to do is sit there and not have a plan moving forward. Case in point, Home Depot will scrap controversial timesheet rounding and pay hourly workers to the nearest minute. Now, this is somewhat of a big deal because this just further shows how tight these companies are getting with every single dollar, every single penny, and now every single minute. No longer will you be able to clock in at 9. What is it? You can clock in at 9:14. It'll show you showing up at 9, and then clock out at 4:46, and it'll show you working till 5. And ultimately, you picked up 28 minutes of free time. They're not going to do that anymore. Home Depot currently calculates the number of hours an employee has worked by rounding to the nearest 15 minutes. But on January 16th, Home Depot will begin paying hourly employees to the nearest minute, according to the company. This is right here on Business Insider, folks. I'm not making this stuff up. Although people like to get in the comments and say certain things about me, I'm not making this stuff up, folks. This is real talk. The move comes after employees filed lawsuits accusing Home Depot of depriving them of pay. So, interestingly enough, the employees issued and triggered this, right? Think about it. The employees triggered this, okay? Which caused the company, Home Depot, to retaliate in a way of which we understand, we hear your concerns, we hear your complaints. I tell you what, we'll make it fair for everybody, and we'll just shut it off right at the minute. All right. So now the employees more than likely filed these lawsuits because they weren't getting the time that they felt as though that they deserved, perhaps from using this rounding system. And instead, it possibly backfired on them and says, all right, you're going to get exactly what you got coming to you. Meanwhile, you got to think Home Depot execs, CEOs, COOs, CFOs, the bigwigs in their high-rise office buildings are probably sitting there at that mile-long conference table talking to each other, saying, these employees are really starting to cause some serious problems. I know. How can we get rid of them? Well, let's first start off by cutting their hours so they're not getting the ability to round up their time. Okay, great. We're going to further find more ways to reduce our employee workload, our employee overhead, this expensive burden that we're carrying on a regular basis while we're seeing sales decline and profits decline. Let's figure out a way to get rid of these folks. Look, I'm not saying that I'm a fortune teller. I'm not saying I have a crystal ball. But what I am saying is that I've had a lot of thoughts and ideas based on history, current situations, and future projections of what could possibly happen, 2023 predictions, and oftentimes they come true. I'm just saying. But in my opinion, I could literally make a prediction right now and tell you that tomorrow will be a new day. And guess what? My prediction would be true. It would be correct. Tomorrow will be a new day. Odds are tomorrow will be a new day for most, unless, we were to just meet our demise today. But then regardless, we're getting off topic here. Tomorrow will be a new day. That will be my prediction. And odds are I'll be correct, because the predictions that I make about the basic fundamentals of business based on the current situations of our economic climate, the financial situation that we're in, the recession that we're in, the crisis that is hitting so many businesses' bottom lines, it's not hard for me to make these predictions. It's not. So when I tell you guys to prepare, I think that it's warranted and with good reason. So it says that beginning on January 16th, Home Depot will pay employees to the nearest minute based off of when they clock in and clock out. Like many retailers, the company has rounded the total time of a shift up or down to the nearest 15 minutes to determine how much to pay employees. But after several employees filed lawsuits in recent years accusing the company of purposely rounding down their pay, the company is changing course. And it says here that our policy has been to round total shift minutes time up or down to the nearest 15 minutes, which has been a common industry practice for many years, according to a Home Depot spokeswoman, Sarah Gorman, and she told Business Insider, as laws, technology, and workplace practices continue to evolve, we're changing our practice nationwide effective January 16th, 2023, to pay hourly associates to the nearest minute based on exact time punches. Timesheet rounding or rounding up or down based off time worked has been used by many restaurants and retailers for years, and it is considered legal under federal laws. So long as it is neutral and favorable to employees and does not exceed a 15-minute increment. Well, that is going to be no longer the case for Home Depot, and odds are this will probably roll out and be widespread across all industries just to simplify everything. And they'll start calculating and doing the math and realizing, hey, we could save a whole lot more money by doing this. And we could also get the employees to work longer by doing this instead of the employees trying to leverage the system for these free minutes. There's also glitches in technology as far as accurate reporting. Your clock versus their clock. It's a computer. We've had glitches with YouTube and analytics. Hell, my MacBook Air can't keep the right time. It's off by several minutes every day, and there's nothing I can do about it, but it is what it is, All I can do is understand the situations that exist and how am I going to position myself to continuously progress and succeed despite these changes, these obstacles, these challenges, which is what I tried to provide to you folks. And if you're interested, by all means, please contact me. Now, let me get back on track here because I got a lot that I want to cover with you guys. I do want to talk a little bit about the United States Postal Service because I brought a video to you guys yesterday about that. And then I received a comment, and the comment says that, "Hi, Kevin. I'm a carrier for the United States Postal Service, and this is a part of the reconstruction plan. They are consolidating smaller offices and creating Amazon-type distribution centers, whereas we, the employees, will have to travel further to deliver mail. Here's the problem. They've slowed down hiring and people are not coming to work as scheduled. Therefore, mail isn't being pushed through, but they're making packages a priority. We are a subsidiary company of the federal government. The government has been pushing for over 10 years for people to get direct deposit. If you like, I can forward you the 10-year reconstruction plan for my company. Yes, jobs will be consolidated as part of the plan." So just to further clarify the video that I put up yesterday about the Postal Service, there was 50 post offices that were apparently shut down because of intense weather, crazy winter storms, flooding, power loss. There was a variety of reasons, and the reopening of these locations was undetermined, until further notice due to circumstances beyond their control at the time. Now, I'm not saying that these people are going to lose their jobs indefinitely. I'm not saying that, the Postal Service is going to be shut down. I'm not saying, that whatever. The fact of the matter is that somebody actually commented and said that, just because they're shut down, they'll redirect the mail somewhere else and these people will still have jobs. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Just thinking about it as from the simple standpoint of the fact that the Postal Service has mail trucks and mail routes. So if a particular post office has mail trucks that are snowed in, how are they going to get these mail trucks out to then take them to another Postal Service USPS facility to then put them on what route? You know, not only that, the ability for these post offices to process and facilitate the added workload of the sorting of the mail. And yes, I do know what I'm talking about because my mom worked for the postal system, for the Postal Service for many, many years sorting mail. So I think I have a general idea of how this works and how them being interrupted by this intense weather can have a huge impact on employees who will see a lull in their ability to go to work, make it to work, and earn an income. Hell, maybe they can't even go to work for the simple fact that if the post office is snowed in and flooding and power loss, maybe they can't even commute to work. The simple fact of the matter is what it boils down to is having a backup plan, having the ability to earn extra income, spend less than you make, budget wisely, not carry high interest revolving credit card debt, save money and invest. That's the point. Having multiple income streams and diversity in your income so that if you were to see any sort of disruption whatsoever, however it may come, whatever shape or form it may take on, it doesn't cripple you. It doesn't wipe you out. That's the point. Additionally, sad news to report. Again, previous video, I brought you guys this information, but people like to say in the comments that, Kevin, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. You're making this shit up. You're pulling it out of your ass. Okay, well, here you go. Here's the restaurant. Here's the restaurant that unfortunately is closing down. Really good friends of ours, Chipper's Barbecue. Sadly, according to Destin Foodies on Facebook, sadly, Chipper's BBQ will be closing their doors on Monday, 1/16. Their food is really good. The restaurant is pretty cool, and they are the nicest people around. If you haven't been, do yourself a favor and go before they close. If you've been, go enjoy it one last time before they close. Sad to see them go. Likewise, anybody who can make it to Chipper's Barbecue before Monday, please stop by and just show some support. I got a comment here from, actually, I pulled this off of Destin Foodies' Facebook page, and it says that rent is the real problem here. It's impossible to sustain a business when the rent is probably around $4,500. And side note, their rent was a whole lot higher than $4,500. So it just adds to the problem. And when you add utilities and insurance, your overhead is close to six grand. And you haven't even started with payroll. I'm about to close my business too. Can't find a small, affordable place to rent in Destin. And no, that is absolutely right. Because we were actually yesterday, I was talking to Justin at Magnolia Soap in Destin at Destin Commons. I was talking to Justin, and he was telling me that there's a food hall. There's a food hall going up at Destin, or it's already up, but they're finally about to open it. And he was telling me that for the little spots, basically like any shopping malls, restaurant space, maybe even a little bit smaller, I think he said it was almost like $5 grand a month just for the spot. That is crazy. And that's before you factor in all the other added costs that it takes to run and operate these businesses. There's no reason. It makes sense why everything is so expensive to buy as a consumer, because every input is so expensive to operate as a business. It's crazy. And honestly, I don't see a real end in sight. I really don't, which is, in my opinion, why my primary focus, and I share with you guys, is to continuously find ways to make more money. Try to find ways wherever possible to spend less and ultimately spend less than you make, and make sure you're budgeting wisely and not carrying high interest debt that is literally eating away and chipping away at your purchasing power. It's going to be next to impossible to really produce any form and measurable mean of substantial passive income if you're just paying high interest on your debts. Additionally, this is also part of the problem that employees may face. not necessarily as a result of their own actions, good or bad. But I've got another comment here. I believe this was from Destined Foodies as well. We had a Panda Express open here recently. I love Panda Express. Haven't eaten it in a long time, but I really like their chicken. And it says here that normally I'm a fan of Panda Express, but the new one just seems off. No samples before you order. Okay, no big deal. But in my opinion, it's just another cost savings measure. But it says entree portion size was much smaller than I received at other locations. Yeah, I see that a lot. Folks are pulling back. Not only are their ingredients changing, but their quantities are changing, their sizes are changing, and the packaging is changing so it doesn't look like they're giving you less. The packaging has changed and been reduced in size so it appears full. This is all part of the evolution. It's all part of the business changes that I've been telling you guys about. It says the egg roll was soggy and soft. Orange chicken was good as usual. Yep, some good stuff. Staff was friendly-ish. Now, the key here, besides everything else I shared with you, is the staff is friendly-ish. That could have a huge impact on the likelihood of the business surviving, especially in an area like this here in Destin, where seasonality is a big deal. And if your staff is friendly-ish to the locals who are going to support you in the off season, you may not make it through the off season. You see what I'm saying? Folks, if you guys want to know more, if you guys want to discuss business, if you guys want to talk about making extra money, more money, producing multiple diverse income streams, ultimately passive income, I got a lot of ways. I got a lot of strategies. I got a lot of irons in the fire myself already that are working pretty consistently. So if you guys are interested, in my opinion, with what I'm seeing, now obviously this business model wouldn't be sustainable for everybody. And, you know, I know for a simple fact that not everybody's going to do it. So it's not a big deal for me to share it with you. But right now, there's no way I would want to start a business that was heavy in overhead operating expenses. I would want to start a business online. Therefore, I don't have to carry the cost of rent. I would want to start a business that is selling products that I don't have to pay for up front. So I don't have this huge expense and overhead operating costs and carrying costs. So if you guys want to know more about that and how to make that happen and how it works, like literally works for me, folks, I don't have a job. This is what I do. Okay. Just hit me up. Let me know. Last but not least, I want to provide you guys with a pleasant comment and motivation as I receive oftentimes. I notice this name pop up a lot, and he always seems so positive and upbeat despite everything that's going on, because in my opinion, he has his head on straight. He's focused on the ultimate goal, and he's not going to allow any of this or anything or anybody to stop him. He goes by the name of Mike So Real. I'm gonna put it up on the screen so you guys can read along. And it says that, Kevin, hey Kev, my name is Michael. I just turned 32 on January 8th, representing for the millennials hailing from Denver, Colorado. Colorado's beautiful. We traveled this summer in the van, the wife, the kid, myself, for like 2 months. Colorado is amazing. Beautiful place. Now, I've been working, except for downtown Colorado. I don't know. They need to do something about that. But besides that, beautiful. Love the mountains. It says that I've been working in property management now for close to a decade. And since I dropped out of college, basically. Anyways, my career has taken me far and wide. I've worked for the #1 multifamily manager. I was laid off from this job, unfortunately, due to C-19. I was with the company for close to 5 years. Now, being with the company was as good as going to college because I learned a lot and everything I needed to know about multifamily. At this company, I saved up a lot in my 401k, but learned quickly that it gets taxed twice as bad. But that money still saved my ass for 3 months. Anyways, I bounced around at 2 other companies after this job last year. Now, real quick, the 401k is pre-tax dollars that go in. It really only gets taxed. The thought process behind the 401k is that you're going to get taxed at a lower rate after retirement. Therefore, it's pre-tax going in. So it's if you make $30 an hour, they're putting $30 an hour, you know, or however much you make in that time frame, whatever your investment percentage is based on your pay is going to go in, no tax. And then if you have an employer match, same with that. The difference is when you withdraw, when you borrow, or when you withdraw, not borrow, because you can borrow against yourself, but when you withdraw, that's when you get withdraw early, that's when you get taxed. Ironically, during the pandemic, the CARES Act allowed people to withdraw without penalty, but you still had to pay the tax. But if you repaid it within 3 years, then you didn't have to pay the tax. So just let you guys know. Now, it says that money saved my ass for 3 months. Anyways, I bounced around at 2 other companies after this job. Last year, I thought I landed my dream job. It was perfect and everything I was looking for. I put my heart and soul into the job so I could be indispensable. Regardless of that, I was laid off on January 5th due to a workforce reduction. Now, folks, this is what I'm talking about. Despite having been the best or being the best, hitting every mark, excelling in every category, when companies are faced with these tough decisions, they have to make judgment calls. They have to do, you know, they have to be the bad guy. And usually it's going to come from more than likely some of the higher paid employees. More so for the fact that they just let them go instead of requesting or asking that they continuously work at a lower pay in fear of the employee ultimately quiet quitting, so to speak, and them getting less out of them. And it's a sad and unfortunate truth, but we need to realize and understand and recognize that this is a truth. It can happen. It has. It will forever be. So it says here that regardless of that, I was laid off on January 5th due to a workforce reduction. And this company was a hyper growth startup in the prop tech space. Like most tech companies, funds are drying up. I received an offer on Thursday for a new role still in property management with a small mom and pop company. Surprisingly, I got a 7.5% raise taking this role, but my plan is to just hide my head for the next 2 to 3 years at this company while all these recession fears die down. I hope it's 2 to 3 years. Now, it says that I love the startup vibe and I'm very good project manager. I'm sure PM is project management. Or property management. I have no doubt that I can land a better job, but right now there isn't much out there. No one is hiring anymore, and I'm thankful that I was able to get a job quickly. But this is due to my experience and the dog in me. I refuse to fail. Personally, I want to retire at 55. That is the goal I have in my mind. I do whatever I can to protect that goal. That means investing 30+% of my income and living below my means. It doesn't matter where you work or what you do. The goal is $2 million at 4% dividend rate plus $80,000 a year, or $1 million for 40K. I really enjoy your videos because it's hard to find other brothers around me who are thinking the way I am. Well, maybe the next time we roll through Colorado, I'll hit you up. Roll through Denver, I'll hit you up. Shit, most of the people in your comments don't think the way you do, which is funny. I mean, it really is. It's odd. And then it's like further, I don't know, it's like a little bit challenging for me to continuously try to provide you guys with this information based on the response I get in the comments. But hey, I'm here again. I'm here yet again. I will not fail. It's the dog in me. So anyways, my message to other millennials and layoffees is to keep applying. Don't be afraid to take a basic job until you get a better one. Always have money coming in, no matter how small. It's not going to get easier for our generation, but our testimony will be so much sweeter. Never give up. We're going to end with that. I mean, this is an excellent message. Mike's so real. Really do appreciate it. Keep your head up. Keep grinding. Everybody out there who's listening, who's watching still, please take these words of sound advice and do not give up. Keep trying. Try to produce as many forms of income as possible. And again, let's budget, let's save, let's invest, let's build, let's grow, let's have wealth. Hopefully 2 to 3 years we're out of this recession, but I do agree with Mike So Real and the fact that more than likely things are going to become even more challenging for the millennials and the generation that is coming up and generations to come, which is why we need to be working so hard and diligently for them to have more to provide to them to help them on their path and on their journey. You guys take care. Be safe. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.